I'm Noah Derksen, and I'm from the Vale. So I started playing music, as many young children do, by taking piano lessons. I was about 3 years old, something like that. And of course, like most children, I absolutely hated it. So I made a pact with my parents when I was about 10 that I could quit piano lessons if I started taking guitar lessons, so if I picked up the guitar. So I did that when I was about 10 and took a year and a half of guitar lessons, and then got busy with sports, so I didn't take any more lessons, but started picking it up on my own more. And yeah, I kind of fell in love with it at that point. Is the more you practice, the better you get. The better you get, the more you want to practice, and it's kind of an endless cycle. So I did that for a while, played a lot of guitar for a number of years, and then came to a point, so it would have been about 3 years ago, when I was around 19 or 20, where I wanted to take the next step. So I figured I was good enough at playing the guitar that I could either play it in my room by myself for the rest of my life, or I could try and take the next step. And that next step is writing my own material and then trying to perform that. So that was about 3 years ago. I started writing some of my own songs, and then getting out to the open mic scene in Vancouver, performing as much as possible. And then gradually things have just progressed from there. So Deep Blue is the first song off of this upcoming album. That was written in an attempt for me to get in touch with my emotional side. So I've played a lot of sports growing up. I played volleyball competitively. I played at a university for a while, and in the sporting world, oftentimes it's very much about competition, and you're less in touch with your emotional side. So I found that coming from the athletic world into music and the artistic world. In arts, it's all about getting in touch with your emotions and your thoughts and trying to express that. And you need to be open with yourself in order to be open with other people. So that song was just an attempt of me to be emotional, essentially, and to allow the feelings to come. And so that was written about some experiences that I was going through at the time. Death by Imagination is one of the songs off of my first album. And that song is about the struggles with the creative process. So when I first started writing songs, I had this idea that I just wanted to write down everything. So I wanted to start writing songs. I wanted to challenge myself in that way. So I would have these little moments, these bursts of inspiration. So whether I was walking back from class or on the bus or something like that, I would have these little lines that would come into my head, and I would think like, oh, that's a great line. I got to remember that. And so of course I would think to myself, I'm going to remember that. And then later on, when I would get home and sit down with my guitar, I would think, okay, what was that line? And of course it was completely gone. So from that experience, over and over again, I realized that you have to write things down. So that's kind of roughly what the song's about. The last song we played was called A Good Winter, and that's a newer song, one of the newest, also from this upcoming record. It stems from a poem that our grandfather wrote for our grandmother on her 86th birthday. So I was home in Winnipeg at the time, and I had the fortune of being, I guess, at their house for around her birthday. And so she, my Oma is what we call her, but so she showed me this poem, and just displaying what a romantic our Opa is. And so of course they were kind enough to let me copy it out. And so I had that sitting in my wallet for quite some time, and then at some point over the last year, my wallet fell out of my pocket and just exploded everywhere. And then I have this copy of the poem, so I unfold it and read it. And I was like, oh, that's really cute. And so then I took that and created a song out of it. Typically, historically, the type of music that I listen to has been the down-tempo acoustic folk music, so very similar to what I would play I guess more recently it's been more all over the place. Just because you can, now that I'm playing all this music, this down-tempo folk music, maybe there's only so much that I can listen to, and if I'm playing it all the time, then, so kind of more the indie rock or indie folk scene, so a little bit more upbeat, but you toss some erratic artists in there as well. So I typically draw musical inspiration, per se, from artists that challenge me, whether that's if I try to emulate their music, so whether that's on the guitar, vocally, lyrically. So there's been a number of artists that have kind of played that part of inspiring me, challenging me. So the most recent perhaps, and the most notable in like the last couple of years as I've been getting into songwriting has been Leonard Cohen. More so for realizing that you don't have to have the best voice. It's not all about your vocal performance per se, but there's a wide array of aspects to musicality. And so with Leonard Cohen, it's a lot. Lyricism is a major component, the poetry behind it. So when I approach songwriting in general, is just trying to well, be critical of not be satisfied with what's easy, and just continue trying to write and find the best way to describe something or to create a song. Yeah, so I came into last school year, which was my final school year at UBC in Vancouver, and what I wanted to do was I wanted to either play a show or go to a concert every single weekend, and so that was my priority. And there's a lot of live music happening in Vancouver, and there's lots of opportunity to play, and so it's really cool for me as the more I get into music and the more I get into playing, the more I meet people, the more I meet musicians, and so now a lot of the music that I listen to and a lot of the live music that I go see are friends of mine or people that I know, and as far as I'm concerned, that's top quality musicianship and everything like that. So that's, yeah, I try to get out as much as possible, and as well as just to kind of hone my own craft of trying to see other musicians that have been doing it for a lot longer than me, have more experience and that are better than me, quite frankly, and trying to learn from them to see what they do in their performance that is more captivating or something that I can draw from. I got a science degree, and what I want to do now is completely push that aside and play as much music as possible. So the way that I see that is just touring pretty much full time. So I want to perform. I want to get out there, meet as many people as possible, perform as much as possible. And so over the next 2 years or so, that's my plan of just doing a few months throughout Canada, a few months down the west coast of the States, and just kind of continue that cycle and continue to challenge myself and take opportunities as they come. So the album, I have a new album coming out. The new album is called In Search of the Way, and the album kind of just encompasses my position in life, and a lot of that is trying to figure out what is next, what I'm supposed to do. Having just graduated from university, now looking forward is kind of the ultimate freedom. This is the first time in my life that I've been able to fully make my own decisions for what I'm going to do next, and that's just as terrifying as it is exciting. This is the path that I'm on so far. Cool.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was awesome.